Okay, and in today's course, and I will teach you what's a CRUD in MySQL. And actually, that is really important in our in this course, because if today you want to further your skills in your backend, and I think you needed to learn at least one database. And in database, the most four important skill is CRUD. Okay, and in today's course, and I will divide today's course into three parts. The first one is MySQL. At the beginning, I want to introduce what is MySQL, and I will give you an introduction to database management system, because I believe in this course and we have so many students, maybe this is your first time to use database. And actually that is really easy, so no worry with that, because you know, and I think at the beginning of this course you already know what's the front end, and you can add some skills in your CV. And in today's, if you learn MySQL and you know what is CRUD, I think that is enough. That is the basic skills in this domain. So I think you needed to pay your full attention to today's course. Okay, and at the beginning I will give you the whole concept. And later in the second part I want to introduce what CRUD operation in MySQL. And actually C is for create, R is for read, U is for update, D is for delete. And actually you only need these four things and you can do so many things. For example, today you want to create a post in your Facebook, and you needed the skill of create. And today if you want to browse the other people's post, and we will use the read. Okay, and today if you post you just create a post, but you want to edit, you want to change something, and I think that is update. And if today you think, oh, this content is not suitable, or that this content is not good, so you want to delete it, so today you will use this action. So you just use these four action and you can do all the things for your database. So I think that is the four basic operations of implementing storage applications. Okay, and the last one is CRUD practice. Because you already know what's CRUD, but you don't know how to create an application. But I think application is the most critical one in your project, because I think in every groups your project, and you needed to create more and more application to make your user can use it. Okay, so that's three parts is today's course. If you are ready, so just get started. The first one is MySQL. What is MySQL? Okay, I think the first questions I want to ask is, why do we need a database? Because I think a database just let us to work with large amounts of data efficiently. Because if today you don't have database, maybe you will have so many Excel file, just like maybe we can open an Excel. Okay, maybe today I will create a lot of Excel file, and I will create, maybe this is for your score, or I can create the other one, maybe it's student information. Okay, and I can also, the other thing is teacher information, and I needed to class the other one is classroom education. Okay, and maybe today has the other system, and we needed to create an other Excel, not only for these four things. So this will make the things too complex. So if today we want to manage all the data, I think we needed to use the efficient way is database. Okay, so this is why we say today if you use database, and I think that can help us manage our data efficiently. I think that is the reason. And the database is designed so that it's easy to store and access information. And you can rethink, if today you don't have any database, you just have Excel, what problems you will encounter? What's the problem you will encounter? So, okay, if today we only have Excel, we needed to browse all the data and we will spend a lot of time. I think that is one reason. Yes, maybe we can use, if today we use database and we can use query strategy and we can search some data from our database. That is easier. If there has the other problems and we will encounter from the Excel file. If today and there have 10 people, they have the same spreadsheet. They have the same spreadsheet, but one people just want to change a column, and but the other people, their column is different from your columns. Is there has problem? Because your column is original one, but your friend's column is a new one. So this is totally different. So if today we want to match all the data, and they will encounter the new problem, new challenge. Okay, so this is a challenge for managing the data, I think. So if today we use Excel, I think there will has a lot of challenge and we needed to face. So this is the reason we needed to rely on database, because database is a structure. This is a structure. What's a structure? They needed to build a connection between each table. They needed to add the connection between all the data, because now we don't know what is table, but I will introduce you later. We will use this structure to show all the information is an organized. For example, if today you want to create a crawler, you want to grab all the information from the other people's websites, and that is non-organized. That is non-organized because you don't have any tables concept. You don't have organized information concept. So all the data is too complex. But if today you have a database, we will make sure your information is structured. It's like we just follow the Excel's concept. Maybe today I will define that. That is ID. The first column is ID. So in here, in these columns, all the thing is student's ID. Okay, and later the second column maybe is name. So I will record all the student names in here. So I will say, oh, this column is all the name. And I can say the third column is your web design score. Okay, so I will know all here is the numbers, is a score. Okay, so this is organized information. This is organized information. But if today I use a crawler just like, maybe I use this way. I crawler all the information from here, but I don't know what's the relationship between here and here. I have no idea with that, because all the information will be crawled by one approach. So that is hard to define all the things. So that is the reasons why we needed to rely on database, their organized information. Okay, and I think a good database is crucial to any company or organization, because even today we are just a small medium enterprise and we still needed to rely on database, because that can help us store all the data about the company, such as our employee records or transactional record or salary details or the other things. Especially if today you want to give the salary for your employee, I think that is so hard, because in most of company and they has their own hierarchy. So we needed to set up a clear structures to make sure, oh, today maybe you are the same positions and you will get the same salary, to make sure that is fair. Okay, so I think a database can help us to conduct our policies of company. Okay, and now maybe we can see here what is table. Here is just like a table. Table is just like your Excel sheet, spreadsheet. Okay, and we will have so many tables. But if today we only have table, this is not enough. Because if we only have table, this is just similar with Excel. And actually, we needed to make sure there has a connection. What's the relationship between table 1 and the table 2? Maybe we needed to create a connection between them. Okay, and later we will need to create another connections between table 2 and table 3 to make sure all the table they have their own connection. So that is relational database. Relational database. And actually, there has so many table, and I will call this database. So first of all, you need to create your own database. You need to create your own database. For example, today I can create a database for student. Okay, student. Okay, and my table 1 I can create for student score. Okay, and the table 2 I can create for students information. Okay, and the table 3 I can create the other thing, maybe students club for student. Okay, so I will know all this table is related to student. So I will put all student related information, related tables in the data in students database. So you will know if today you want to create a database, you need to make sure all the information they are related. So this is the reason why we needed to rely on excuse me, 你是不是这门课的吧 ？Okay. Okay, just a little bit curious because I never seen this guy. Okay, this is the first time, but that is the last third times of our course. Okay. So that is the concept of database. Okay. So we needed to note what the advantage of database. Actually, the database can help us store more data. If today you only have a sheet, and I think that the sheet there has their limit, so we can store as more data like the database. And we can also keep the data is organized. Okay, because we will set up the columns at the beginnings. If today we want to create tables, and you need to set up your data structure. So you will define all the column. You will know each column. You will get some information, what's the particular information from the user. Okay, and the third point is we can access the data faster. That is really critical. If today you just use Excel, and I think all the thing will be slow, especially if today this Excel is stored in specific people's their computer. And if today we want to access their computer, and they just take a day off, I think that is hard to access the data. Okay, but today if you have the MySQL, and we can just through a link, and we can through a website to access all the data. That can make sure all the thing is fast. Okay, and the fourth point, I think that is a major point. The most important one is relate data to other data. Relate data to other data. You need to make sure some column that is a unique number. Some column is unique numbers. Why we need to have a unique number? It's just like your student ID. Your student ID is your own. There will not have the other people have the same student ID with you. Because if today you just use the same student ID, this is hard to find out this score is yours or him. Okay, so I think we needed to make sure all the data, their relations, that is really critical. Okay, and today I will teach you about the MySQL. Actually, I really enjoy MySQL because I think MySQL is freely download. Okay, that is a free version. So even today you use PHP or you use the other language, I think MySQL maybe is your top choice. Okay, and that is easier to access. Okay, So that is the world's most popular open source database because we don't need to pay, and we can find a lot of online support if we ever need help. You just search MySQL and you can get all the things. For example, if today you want to learn MySQL, and you can just search it. I can just search this, and I can get all the information from Google. But this MySQL is not enough because you needed to make sure the data is what you want to access. Because today you are a PHP designer, so you will need to use MySQL PHP, and you can get so many informations about this. Okay. But if today you want to use the other language, just change it here, and you can get the other information. So that is MySQL. So actually, the database table is similar to spreadsheet, but only the table. Because our database is not only have the table, we also have the database concept. That is totally different. Okay, so I just say that is similar. They are not the same. For example, if today you own a movie theater, you are a movie theater owners, and you needed to create so many database and their table. For example, you will have a table is to manage all the information about your movies, and we will have the first column is their ID, is 9001, 9002, 9003, and the 9001 is for the movie Black Panther. Okay, this is they have connection. Okay, and their introduction is for this movie, and we also needed to we needed to make sure their auditoriums is clear. Okay. And the other table is auditorium. Auditorium, they have their own ID and they have their name because each auditorium they have their own name, and they also have the number of seats, how many seats that is available. Okay, and you can note what's the similar of these two table. Both of them have ID. Both of them has a title and a name, but seat and introduction auditorium is not the same. This is not their similar things. The similar thing is their auditorium is connected to auditorium table. Okay, so if today we know this is A01 auditorium, and I will know A01's name is auditorium 1, and they have 350 seats. Okay, so we just want to build this connection. You don't need truly to create a connection. You just make sure this number will connect with this number. Okay, they are the same. Okay, we just use the same thing to make sure these two things can connect. Okay, because we don't need to create an auditorium name, auditorium 1, auditorium seat, 350. We don't need to create all the information in one table because there will have so many tables, so many columns is redundant. Okay, we just want to make sure our database is thin. Okay, so we just use a connection approach to make sure they are related. Okay, so we have two tables. So maybe in your projects, you also needed to create your database. You needed to create your tables. You needed to organize how many tables you want to design for. How many tables you want to design for. And how many columns you needed to create for a table. Okay, and what's the relationship between all these sheets? What's the relationship between all these sheets? Okay. So now we will start to use PHP MyAdmin, and actually we already download it. You can go to here, MEMP, and you just click my PHP MyAdmin. You click Tools, and here is PHP MyAdmin. and you can see here. Okay, and you needed to make sure here is UTF-8 MB4. Okay, because here has so many char set. Okay, I want to show you what is char set. Okay, for example, today you create you have your website, right? And you also have your database. Because all the information, because most of information is from database. Okay. If today we access a website and the websites will access the data from our database. Okay. So today, your website have their own char set. Your own char set maybe is UTF-8. Okay. And your database is big file, and they will make you encounter some challenge. Okay, you need to make sure their char set is the same. Okay, we need to make sure these two things, their char set is UTF-8, and they will make sure the information will good to see. If they are not the same, you will encounter the problem is God build. Okay, is this God build? Do you know what is God build? I think I can search it. God build is just like this. Sometimes you will see your website is just a lot of words, and you can this is hard to read. Okay, this is not Chinese, and this is not English. Okay, and I will say this is God built. Okay, just like this. You must encounter this problem. Okay, so you needed to make sure these two char sets is aligned. So we needed to set up our website, and we also needed to set up our database. Okay. Let me see. Okay, just wait for it. And actually, UTF-8 is not enough, because traditionally UTF-8 is for UTF-8 MB3. If you only call UTF-8, and the people will know that is UTF-8 MB3. But now we need to use UTF-8 MB4. That is different, because UTF-8 is use a maximum of 3 bytes per characters and contains only BMP characters. Okay, that only have 3 bytes. But today, if you use UTF-8 MB4, that is 4 bytes. Okay, because in nowadays, we have more and more other things. We have more language char sets. For example, you will have some char set is some word is for your emotion. Okay, because each computer just creates so many emotion icons for user. So we need to more byte to store our information. So that is the reason why recently we always use UTF-8 MB4. If today you only have UTF-8 MB3, that is not enough. Okay. So we needed to set up UTF-8 MB4. Just here. You needed to go to here and set up our server connection collection UTF-8 MB4. Okay. need to save all the files in memp htdocs, and that can run in our local host. Okay, you can see here has meta char set. This is UTF-8. That is UTF-8. Okay. So that is the same with our UTF-8 and B4. But you will ask me why here is UTF-8, not UTF-8 and B4. It's because the basic of our website, we only needed to maybe 3 bytes to store all the information. But your database maybe will store something like your emotion icons. So I think that is the reason why one way is UTF-8 and the other is UTF-8 and B4. So they are I think they are just the same family. Okay, they just like the cousins. And even today they are not the same people, but they still have their own connection. So there we will not encounter the gut build. Okay. So just keep going. And now we needed to, maybe we can create a database. If today I want to create a database to store all the information is about our members, so I can create a members database. Okay. So you need to click here, is a new, and set up our members. Okay, so we just create a members in here, and we needed to choose the UTF-8 MB4 Unicode CI, this one. Okay. So now we already create our first database. Okay. And later is this. We needed to create a new table. What is a table? Table is you just want to specific informations. Okay. For example, I want to create a table for my account, and in account we have 2 columns. And one column is ID, the other column is name. Okay, so we just, before we create this table, you need to organize your table. You need to know how many columns will in this table. Okay, and actually that is not enough. You need to note what's the type of this column. Oh, if today you want to save all our account ID, the type is int. Int is integer, it's just the numbers. And what's the length? I think the length is 10, 10 is enough. Okay, and here is primary. Actually, in each table, we have one column is primary. It's primary. This primary is unique. It's unique one. There will not have the other numbers is same with the others people's. Okay, because we know the student's ID that is unique. The user ID is unique. So we needed to set up here is primary. Okay, maybe I have the other table is to record the student's score, and I can just record the student's ID in that table. So I will know, oh, this student, they gain what the scores from the history or from the website or from the other subject. Okay, so we just have the connection from the ID. Okay, so I just set up the primary in here. And the later one is AI. What is AI? AI is auto increment. Auto increment. If today we want to set up a ID is from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even you don't give it numbers, that can automatically generate the later ones. Okay. For example, you already have created 1, 2, 3 ID, and later you want to create the other data for in my account. You just give a name. You just give a student name, and they will give you another ID is 4, because they will generate the IDs automatically. Okay, so that is AI. That is AI means automatically increment. Okay, auto increment. So you needed to, before you set up this table, you needed to organize all the things, not only for your column name, also for your types and your index is primary or not, and is auto increment or not. Okay, maybe today you don't want to make sure make your ID as auto increment. Maybe you want to give specific numbers, so you don't need to check it with this. Okay, that is depends on you. I think ID is primary one, is unique one, but that is not certainly needed to use auto increment. Okay, so that is depends on you. Okay, so now maybe I can create my account. Okay, account, I just have two columns. They just ask you what's the number of columns. So today we just want to practice, so I just create an easy one. Okay, and I needed to create here is ID, and the other column is name. And the ID, that is int, is integers for sure, and the name is varchar. Okay, because that is the words, so I will use varchar. Okay, so their length is 10, and I think name is 50 is enough. Okay, and the index is ID, because ID is unique one, so I will set up the unique. Okay, and I will click the auto increment. Okay, so I just save. So now I will have a ID and the name. So that is my table structure. That is my table structure. Okay, so now it is your turn, and please create your own database and create your own table. Okay, and by the way, I already upload all the slides on our Moodle. So if you need, and you can follow the slide to do by yourself. Because it maybe you yes, because maybe you um, I think before today's you already download the other database in your computer, right? Maybe not. I didn't do any backup. You download Python. This computer didn't have but is that work? I don't know why. How about previous course? Is this wrong? Can you run all the thing smoothly? I can run PHP. You can run PHP. Yeah. I also do this before. Because I have also encountered the same problem. It's because I already done the other database in here. I know you have an answer Oh, and you also finish it. I also finish it. Yeah, because I know next week somebody that MySQL didn't that, and you help her. Who? She said next week and some problem. Some problem. Okay. I also checked the website yesterday, but not work. Okay. Okay, I will switch the monitor. Okay, now we enter into our second part is CRUD operations in MySQL. Okay, and the CRUD operation in MySQL that can help us use structured query language. Structured query language is SQL. Okay, SQL, structured query language. Okay, because we just use this query can help us do so many things faster. Because all the thing is structured. Okay, we can follow a pattern to query the things you want us access. Okay, so we can use the structured query language to store the data in the form of RDBMS. That is relational database management systems. Okay, and MySQL is one of relational database management system. Okay, so today we just needed to learn what is MySQL. And the CRUD is C for create, R for read, U for update, D for delete. So today we just needed to learn these 4 things. All the things completed. Okay. So today we needed to use PHP to connect with our MySQL. So the first thing is you need to set up MySQL Connect to connect with our MySQL, and you needed to make sure the PHP will know what is your local host, what is your server, and what is your account, what is your password, and which database you want to access. So we need to set up all the information in MySQL Connect, and we will build a connection with all these servers. And now we already enter into this server. The second thing is we needed to set up our query. We needed to query some things with our server. Okay, maybe you can delete something, you can insert something, you can update something. Okay, we just follow the MySQL query. And today, if you want to get some information from your server, okay, from the database, from our table to our server, to our website, you need to use MySQL fetch rule. Okay, we just use MySQL fetch rule, and it can help us read the information from all the table. And later, if all the thing is finished, please just use MySQL close. So this is the 4 major things from our SQL. Okay, the 4 major things from our SQL. At the beginning, if today you want to create a table, and maybe we already created a database, and we already created tables. Okay, here is typo, and we can save some files from here. Okay, so maybe we can go to here. I can click the insert. Okay, click insert, and we can save some file into our table. Okay, maybe the first name is Jason, and the second name is Hans, and I didn't need to give the ID. Okay, because we already set up the ID for auto increment, right? So we don't need to set up the ID. I just use go. Okay, so you can see insert into account, ID name, value is Noor, Jason, Noor, Hans. Okay, so let's see our data. This can help us create the ID automatically. And Jason is here, Hans is here. Okay, so this is just our ways, and we can do in our local host. We just threw the PHP admin to help us insert some data into our table. Okay. So if today you want to through your PHP to connect with your MySQL, you just need to follow this way. You just need to follow this way. And the first thing is MySQL Connect. The first one is localhost. I think today we are all the same. We just use localhost. And our account is the same, it's root. And our password is also the same, it's root. If today you just use memp to download all the things, and I think our account and the password will the same. And our database is members. This is depends on which database you create for. And I use a function as con. This con is just for the connection, and I can use this con to understand today that is we build a connection already or not. Okay, if today I use an exclamation in here, and that will tell us if today we can't make a connection, That please help us to echo failure. If today we already make a connection, please echo success. Okay, so this is not necessary. That is not necessary. That is just help you. If today you can connect with that, maybe you can use this logic structure to understand you make a connection or not. Okay, and the later is SQL. Our SQL is insert into account. Account is your table name, and the later is ID and the name. ID and the name is our columns title. Okay, and also we needed to build up our values. Okay, so let's just create it. The first thing is MySQL, MySQLi, connect, localhost, and root. And does our name is members? Yes, members. And the next one is our SQL. Insert into account, ID and name, values, and 3, and the name maybe is Haley. Okay, so maybe we can use this way to help us insert some data to our account table, just like this. Okay, here needed to have the connection and the SQL. So I use this. So now we go to the test to check it. Test. Okay, there is nothing happen, but we can go to our database to check it. There has Haley and ID is 43. So that is successfully. I created it successfully. So maybe we can try. If today we don't need, we don't give them an ID, and I can see what happened. Maybe that is Harper. So I go to test to run again and browse. Okay, this can help us also generate the ID automatically. So now please try to use this SQL to finish this. Okay, you need to do something from your PHP MyAdmin, but also use PHP to create a new record. Okay, so now it's your turn. Hello, I will switch the monitor. Oh, okay. And we have some students use Mac and doesn't run well. And how many people you use Mac? Please raise your hand. Okay. And if you use your Mac but you run it smoothly, please keep raise your hand. Okay, 2 people. Okay. When you buy your Mac, it's a new version? M1. Okay, it's an old version. This year? Last year. And when you buy it? 2020. And Shunwei, when you buy it? Last year. Actually, I have a little bit no idea with that because I try to use a 2 Mac computer to run the same SQL, but sometimes that can run it successfully, but sometimes we will get the problems. But I have no idea. That has the same code and the same actions, but the totally different results. Okay, so maybe we just keep observe it. Okay. Okay, and I think we just keep going because we still have the other actions and we needed to try it. Okay. And the second thing is we needed to update the existing recode. Okay, today you needed to update some things, but you needed to make sure there has some column that can help them to depend on. Okay, so if today we want to update some accounts their name, we needed to depend on their ID. Okay, you needed to tell the SQL which ID's name you want to adjust, you want to update. So this is just like an English sentence. Update account send name as Lisa, her ID is 3. Okay, this is really easy, right? So I think we just try to use it. I can use update account and set name John, where ID equal 3. Okay, I think that is the same. Update account set name Lisa, where ID equals 3. Okay, so we needed to check our database first. Okay, the number 3 now is Haley, so we want to use John to replace it. Okay, so the name will be changed to John. Okay, so this is okay. We just keep going, and the next one is delete. Okay, delete from account where ID equals 3. Delete from account where ID equals 3. Okay, so let's run it. So John be deleted. Okay, so that is delete SQL. So one is insert, second one is update, the third one is delete. You need to note the sentence. You just follow this sentence and you can run your SQL smoothly. Okay, and now we want to read some data from our table. So you need to select a specific table. Okay, for example, today I use account. Okay, so I can select asterisk from account, and the result is MySQL queries connection and SQL. So that is the same, and we need to use our while loops to search all the things. The first thing is we needed to use MySQL fetch array result. Okay, we just make all the data in row. Okay, but we don't know which rows is now we use. Okay, so we needed to give a specific index, specific things. Okay, for example, if today I just use MySQL fetch array, it's just like this. I put all the data in this array, but in one times we only have one record. It's ID1 and name is Jason, and the second thing is ID2, name is Hans, and the third thing is ID4 and with Harper. So I just use array. They just assigns them as a row. The first record is row 1, and the second record is row 2. The third record is row 3. But each time we only use row. Okay, the row is just another name for all these record. But we needed to make sure all the data can be illustrated from into our HTML. So we needed to use row and their column. Which column you want to express? Okay, maybe you want to express the ID column and you want to show the name column. So you can use this way: row ID and the row name. Okay, so I think we just check it. The first thing is SQL and select from account. Okay, I think that is the easy one. And later the row equal to, here is result. Okay, if today I use MySQL query, that's just help us to execute our SQL. So that can put all the results in here. I use a result function to collect all the data, but there has too many data. Maybe there has record 1, record 2, record 3, but we want to use an array because each row I just want to show one record. Okay, so I needed to use MySQL fetch array. That can help us to define the different rows. Maybe the first row is the record 1, and the second row is record 2, and the third record is the third row is record 3. Okay, so I just use MySQL fetch array to make them, to divide them into the different rows. Okay, so just this is okay, and the echo row maybe ID, and I can use BR, and I use double quotation. So I can try it 1, 2, 4. Okay, but if today I don't use BR, that will become this. Okay, actually traditional, the function, and you needed to combine with your string like BR, you needed to use a point to make their connection. But today, the new version of PHP, we just use this way, and we can save all the problem. Okay, so even today, that is a PHP function, but that is a PHP variable, and even today you needed to use HTML text, and you can make them in the same lines. You just needed to use a double quotation. Okay, so they can exist together and the name. Okay. So one is Jason, second is Hans, the fourth is Harper. So I just fetch all the things from our database. So that is retrieve the record. Okay. So now please practice these three things. The one is update, the third one is delete, the last one is retrieve. Okay. And just follow these three things. Okay. So now it's your turn. Please practice it. Okay, and now I will switch the monitor. Okay, and now please notice that I will introduce the CRUD practice. And actually, this practice means that we needed to combine all the skill from the maybe previous course and today's course, and we needed to create a true applications. Okay, and actually, you already know how to use HTML text to create a registration form. Okay, but I already told you that is about the skill of post, but we have no idea about post. So today I will teach you what is post, and actually in previous course I want to introduce you some concept, but we don't have the time to introduce that. So I will share with you this concept. Okay, this is phone handling. Okay, actually we want to through the phone to send our information. If today you want to transfer or you want to send some information through our PHP, and there has a two approach. The first one is post. The second one is get. Both of these two things and we can use. Okay, so this is just like we use a browser. The users browsers and they can send some information to our PHP server. The first one is post and get. What's their difference? If today you use post and you need to have a phone in web browser, the designer they need to create a phone registration form to our user, and that is a good way to transfer some privacy data. Okay, maybe there has some personal data you don't want to share the other people. But the other way is get. Get we can through the link to transfer some data. For example, I can through the here. Okay, we can see here. Can you see here it has a question mark, and that is route. Okay, they just tell us the route is SQL. Okay, and they show the DB is members. Okay, so they send an get DB variable is member. Okay, they send a table variable is account. They send a post variable is 0. Okay, so they through the link to transfer some data. They don't need to use any phone. They just use the link. They can transfer the data. So there is only non-privacy data. We can use this way to transfer it. Okay, non-privacy data. Okay, but if today you want to transfer some privacy data, like maybe your credit card, okay, you don't want to share your credit card with others through the links because that is too dangerous. Maybe there has so many security issue. Okay, so we can only transfer non-privacy data through our link. So that is the approach of get. But if privacy data, we needed to use the post way. So that is totally different. And we can use post, and we needed to use this post and the field name, and get the field name. So they are similar. They are similar. Both of them are a transfer data approach. Okay, so that can help us transfer the data. And here is the post. Okay, actually we want to have a phone, and we want to transfer this data to another page, and we can through this page to save this data in our database, right? So we needed to use a post like this. Okay, maybe I can create a registration form. And in here, I can say that is account registration. and I needed to create a form. Is method is post, and the action is what's your destination file, what's your next file. Okay, I want to send this to the account file. Okay, and that can help me do something. Okay, and the first thing is name. Text, and the name is name. Okay, and here I set up a BR to move the next line, and here is input type submit. Okay, so let's go to here to see our registration form. Okay, so I already see there has a form in here, and I want to send the data to account PHP. So I need to create another one is account PHP. So we needed to echo post name. So let's just try to use it. I give a words and submit. So in this new page, I can get their data. I can get the data. Okay. So can I transfer some data through the link? Because we already know how to use the form to transfer the data. Maybe I can use this action 1. So I can use echo get action, but I needed to have a BR, so I needed to use a double quotation. I needed to run again. Account what's wrong with this? I think the color has been changed. Okay, maybe I use X to receive the data from get. Okay, and I can use this way. Okay, so I can see here is 1. Because there has a double quotation, and we also have the single quotation, and we will encounter some problem. So to manage these problems, so I will put these variables in another variable to avoid use a single quotation and double quotation in the same line. Okay. So we can see there is get is 1, and the other is the name from the post. Okay, so that is the approach to transfer the data. Okay, and the other is get, and we always use the get method to help us transfer. This is non-important data like page. What's now page? Maybe here is page 1, and later is page 2, and it's page 3. Okay, so you can also use this way to get the page. Okay, so you will note if today you want to use the post data, maybe you needed to have 2 pages from page 1 to page 2. But if today you want to use a get, okay, I think that's just in the same page is okay, because in this page I use a egg1, so I can get the egg variable. Okay, so that is 2 things. Maybe you just try to use post and try to use get, and you will understand about these things. Okay, and please try to use it. Okay, I will switch the monitor. Okay, and now we already know there has two things can help us to transfer the data. And this is just like an echo to response me. So weird. Today is weekday. Why do you have so many sounds in there? Okay, no worries. Just keep going. So we have two approach, and actually we can use these two approach to help us do a lot of things. Okay, for example, you know today if today we want to use CRUD operations, and both of these action we needed to have two page. One is we needed to send the information, and the other page is to receive the data. Okay, so maybe we can in the second page, maybe we can combine all the SQL together, because it's just like our test page, and we can see this. Their only SQL is different. Their only SQL is different. So maybe I can use this way. Switch get action. Okay. And I can say that is this. And if today that is case 1, is their action is 1. Okay. I just give this SQL. Okay. And we needed to have a break. Okay. And if here is case 2, I just give the other thing. If today is case 3, so I just delete something. So this is really easy, right? Because originally you needed to have a 4 page or 3 page, but today you just needed to define the get variable. Okay, and we can note what action we needed to do in here, because our connection is same, our query is same. Okay, so we don't need to do the repeat things again and again. So I think that is critical of our these two approaches. Okay, and then here is the other things, and we can use get to gain which page is now. Okay, what is now's page? Maybe it's page 1, page 2, page 3, and I can use this way. But here has the other thing you can try to use. Like this, you can write a program to show the current page numbers and create a hyperlink with a left angle bracket, and to navigate user to previous page. Because you already know there has so many websites, just they have their page number just like that. We can use the angle bracket to go to the previous page and go to the next page. We can just use some logic operation to help us to do this. And I think even today that is angle bracket or that is the word, all this is hyperlink. So we needed to create a hyperlink for the page, the current page, and we also needed to create a hyperlink for our angle bracket. Okay, so based on this, we can do so many things. But you needed to evaluate now is the first page or not. Because if now is the first page and we don't have the left angle bracket, okay, we only have the right angle bracket. But if today that is the last page, we don't have the right angle bracket, but we have left angle bracket. Okay, you needed to use if else operation, logic operation, to evaluate that. Okay, that is the task for previous course. Okay, but we don't have the time to run this. Maybe you just practice by yourself. Okay, you just practice by yourself. Okay, and then now I think it's time to back to our MySQL. Okay, it's not time for break. It's so early now. Okay, but today we don't have any take a break. Okay, now that is CRUD practice. I think we can use in CRUD to complete all the service application. Okay, and the first thing is we want to create something because we want to insert into table column names and with all the values. Okay, so we want to through our registration form to our MySQL. This is really easy, right? Because you already know how to get the data from our registration form through a post approach. Okay, so we can just do like this, and we want to make a connection, make make some SQL execute. Okay, so just like that, I can through the registration form and through the Act 1. So I can use switch and egg case 1 and 2 3. Okay, so the first thing is this, and here I just put my name equal to post name. I just here use the name, so this can help me to save the data. Okay, so let's try it. We use a registration form, and we have form, and we define the method is post, and the action is to account PHP action 1. Okay, so go to here, and they can use a switch to understand the action is 1 or 2 or 3. If today is 1, and please run this. Okay. And we also needed to set up the input type text. The name is name. So this can help us to post the name. Okay. So I put the post name in the name variable. Okay, because I try to avoid use the single quotation and the double quotation in the same lines. Okay. And now I needed to make a connection because both of us needed to make a connection. And later we needed to query it. Okay, we needed to execute our SQL. So connection is in here. Okay, and SQL is in here. Okay, so I can do this. So I can give a name, maybe it's ND, submit, and go to the action 1. So I have an ND in here. I have an ND in here. Okay. I think I stop in here, and please try to do your own ones. Okay, you need to create a 2-page and try to use post and get to do something. Okay, do you need to take a photo? If you need to take a photo, and I just teach you the basic, the fundamental things about all these applications. But you need to try to rethink all the application from nowadays. Maybe today you spend so many times to browse the website, and you needed to know if today you are the designers, how to do this function, how to achieve these applications. You needed to rethink and rethink. Okay, and now it's your turn. Okay, just make your fundament is solid. the concept of pause and action, and please please by me, I will give you a Taiwanese version. OK，好，为什么要用 pause 跟 get？对，我先用中文讲一下。对，好，如果你今天要用 pause 的话，你要传一些非机密的资料，它是透过 form 来传输，表单来传输这样。但是你如果要用 get 的话，就是不重要的资料。那这个 get 它就是在网址上面的 get。OK， 那这个网址上面怎么传值？网址上面的第一个变数是用问号，第二个变数是用 and， 第三个、第四个、第五个都是用 and。那你透过网址就可以来传这个。那为什么我刚刚要用 and？不一定要用 and， 你可以用任何你想要用的东西。对，它只是我想要让它传达说现在要去做哪个动作，所以我用 and 来当做它的变数。那我知道 and 是第一个，我就知道说哦，我今天可以用来新增一个档，新增一个东西。那我今天是第二个，我就是来修改一个东西。我今天是第三个，是删除一个东西。对，所以我可以直接用这样的方式，然后搭配 switch 来做。不然以前我们无论是新增的页面一个页面，然后真正新增的 SQL 又一个档案。那我这样一来一往下来，我要制造几个网页在这里，我会制造无数个网页在这里。但是我今天如果搭配 switch case 的方法，然后搭配 get， 我只用再翻一个页面，处理好所有的 SQL， 那就是最省事的办法。对，所以你今天除了做这个 action 之外，你要去做其他的东西也可以。对，它就是透过网址上面帮我们传输。只要今天这件事情你不需要透过表单来传输的，通通都用 get 来处理，通通都用 get 来处理。所以包含你跟使用者的一些互动，你也可以用 get。OK， 是啊，好。要一个问号，对的，一个问号，然后就看有变数没有，然后要查这个全部一遍。对对对对对。踩到第二个，对对对。但是它不一定要随便填，如果习惯每天填太多东西了，就不会随便填。And now I give you another English version. Okay. Okay, you can look at here, and if today you want to transfer some data to the page, and you want to do the link, and you can just like this way. Maybe I use index PHP. Okay, index PHP. But you needed to know what is the page, the current page. So the first variable, I needed to use a question mark in here. So I will use a page equal to 1. Okay. This is means current page is page 1. Okay. Maybe your page is page 2. So here you can change it to page 2. Okay. So I can use this get page to get the current page value. Okay. So that is variable, and that is value. Okay. And if today you think, oh, the single variable is not enough, you want to create the other variable. Okay. And I can use an m in here. Yes. Maybe today you want to make sure the product has their own type. Maybe this is a type 1, type 2, type 3. So you can set the other variable is type. Okay. And the type we can give the different value. So maybe this is 5. So I can know there has the other variable is type, and their value is 5. And if you want to create the other variable, you can use and in here. Okay. The other variable, you just use and. Only the first time you want to transfer the data through the get, you needed to use a question mark. Okay, so that is their different. So only today you want to transfer data through the form, and you needed to use port. And besides the other things, all the things, you need to use the get. You use get to dump all the things. Okay. Okay, I will switch the monitor and please look at here. Okay. And you will know here is because I want to register a new account. So I want to transfer, I give the value with 1 in the variable action. Okay. But if today you want to update, maybe you want to change your password. So your action will change it to 2. Okay. And if you change this to 2, and in here, we will use case2 to do something in here. Okay. So that will different. Okay. We just based on their egg, their get variable, to understand which action I needed to take. Okay. And please look at here. Here has a result. I put MySQL query into variable result, and I use a logic operation to check a result. If today I execute this result, this can help us to header to transfer to another page. I can use a header location to transfer a specific position. Okay, so I can do this way. Here is result. And if the result, okay, and please help me to header, okay, location, the other page, maybe that is our index, and I want to go to index. Okay, so I create another page is index PHP. Oh, already have. I created the other one. Member page. Okay. Member page. I just create a H3 tag, and I can say that is creation successfully. Okay. So maybe just back to our registration form. Okay. And that can help us to, if today they help us insert into account, help us to save a new record, and after that we will transfer to the other page. Okay, so you can go to here and give a name, maybe it's team, and submit. Creation successfully. They just change it to this page. Okay, but actually they already help us to save our record. Okay, so you will need to create a header location to help us to transfer the other page. Okay, not just give a white page for your user, because there is to embarrass, right? And actually, maybe today I will have the different action. So I want to transfer to members to make sure the member page will know today I am create a new record successfully, or today I just update my password, or today I just delete something. So I needed to tells them what's the page, okay, what's the action I conduct. So I can use this egg and egg, okay. This can help us transfer the action again. So I can do this again, maybe Vincent, and submit. So you can see here is action 1. Okay, so I can this page I can do the same thing. It's just like this. Switch. Get action. Okay, if today this is case 1, and please help me do this. Echo. So if today I send the action is true, I will give the other information. Maybe just update successfully. Okay. Maybe today is case 3. I just say bye bye to them. Okay, because maybe they delete something. Okay. So that is a logic why how to use the get. Okay. So in this member page, I can use just like this. Oh, what's wrong? Case 1. What happened now? If I back to here, I can get the egg. So weird. Which one? Which one? Oh, typo. Thank you. But that didn't run, didn't show anything. And echo get egg. Nothing happened. Maybe we try again. Okay. Maybe I just check later. Okay. But actually, I think this way is correct. Okay. Thank you for switch. Okay, maybe you just follow this way and you can done it successfully. Okay. And then here is also the same, and we just needed to update account to set name where ID is ID. So maybe you just add this SQL. You just add this SQL in your case 2. Okay, because the other things is all the same, right? So maybe just please try to use create your change user names page. Okay, and I will check that later. Excuse me, I needed to switch again. I got my problem. That is so weird. Okay, I can show you. If today I use echo get action, nothing happened. But if today I use a single quotation in here, but it's finished. Okay, so in switch I also needed to add the single quotation in here. So weird, right? Because I want to explain this result. Okay, because traditionally I use PHP, the older versions, we don't need the single quotation. But today, we needed to have a single quotation. So maybe you needed to notice that. Okay? So back to you. will switch the monitors in 30 seconds later. Okay, I am going to switch. And now that is the lesser thing in today's course, lesser point. Okay. Order by column, ASC or DESC. And AST is ascending, and DSC is descending order. So let's just give orders to our query strategy. Okay, for example, we have the order like this, ID. We can use a descending or ascending. Okay, that is really depends on you. So you only need to follow this SQL. Okay, I just copy the SQL from here. Select from account, MySQL query, MySQL fetch array, and echo them. And I can do the same thing in here in my members page. So I can just order by ID DESC. Okay, that can follow the ID column to descending the order. So I can go to here, that is descending, and I can also use the ascending, is from 1 to 8. Okay, so that is order by something, some column. And if today you just want to show the maybe the smallest ID one, I can use a limit 1. Okay, they only show the top 1. If you want to show the top 3, and you can show the top 3. And if today you want to use a DSC in here, and I can show the last 3. Okay, so that is DSC and ASC, just descending and ascending. And we can also use in the limit to specify the number of record to return. Okay, so that's all. That is today's course. We don't take any break in today, so I think our course will end in here. And I think after today's course, you need to back home and you need to practice so many backend, and you need to create more and more backend function application in your website. Not only the things I teach you, you also need to rethink what's a web service in nowadays, and maybe you need to through all these skills to create your new one. Okay, only through this approach, and I think you can get a higher score in your final project. Okay, and in next course I will give you the sequence of our final project. Okay, you will know who is the first and who is the second, and actually you needed to put all your files in this computer in our final project day. Okay, so our final project date is 2 weeks later, and you needed to put all your file in this computer before 9:10. Before 9:10. Please don't tell me because there have so many people, so you can't put all the file on time. You needed to get to the classroom as early as possible, possible. Okay. So any question? If you don't have the questions, and we just end in here. See you next week. Bye bye.